Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
The More Money Show with Steve Moore on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We're back, folks, for the final segment of the More Money Show. By the way, I want to make sure that everyone is getting the Unleash Prosperity hotline. It is absolutely free. It's a good summary of what's going on with the economy and politics. We deliver that to your email 5 mornings a week, and it's absolutely free. Just go to unleashprosperity.com and sign up. And if you like it, which I think you will, we'll keep sending it to you. If you don't like it, you can just unsubscribe, but it costs you not one thin dime. So please get Unleash Prosperity hotline by going to unleashprosperity.com. I'm in a very, very good mood today because what has happened, with respect to this great president of ours, Donald Trump, who has triumphed over evil. That's what happened, last night. A triumph over an evil leader who is, impoverishing his own citizens, and has done great damage to the United States by importing poison into our country that is killing our youth. And thank God Trump prevailed with not one single American casualty, an incredible military operation. And Trump was right to say what a change this was from what happened in the embarrassing exit from Afghanistan. So my next guest is one of the most sharpest political minds in the country, and that's Tom Delbicaro. You know, I have Tom on frequently because I always learn so much from his political insights. So Tom, thanks for joining and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me on.
So the left is going crazy today. What is with these people?
You know, this is going to come down 50, 100 years from now. Historians are going to look at this as one of the biggest geopolitical successes.
Yes.
And I mean, to think 50 years ago, Steve, when you and I first started taking interest in economics and politics.
Well, 40 years.
Oil was in oil was in control of some bad Middle Eastern countries, right, Russia,
right,
and Iran after the fall of the Shah, and now look at where the Venezuela tilting west and the potential for Iran to tilt to the west is an enormous change for peace because it takes it out of, and Maduro is one of the most evil people on the globe.
Yes, he is.
He was impoverishing his own people.
Yes.
Killing them.
Starving. People were starving to death on the street corners of Caracas.
And he was poisoning the world. His narco-terrorism wasn't just confined to his waters. It was going everywhere. So this is an unbelievable thing. Now, look, I'm a little concerned how we said we're going to be running the country now. I'm reminded what Lincoln said, that wars can only be prosecuted as long as the public supports it. And the public needs to support this, and they can't be there too long in what they're doing. But 50 years from now, when you and I are discussing this, it's going to be a huge success.
I agree with you entirely, Tom. By the way, I didn't do a full intro to Tom Delbicaro. He's been a friend of mine for so long that I just figure you all know who he is. But of course, most of you do. He is the author of a great book that I just find really illuminating, and everyone should read. It's called The Lessons of the American Civilization, which is a fantastic book. But he also was, a patron saint of lost causes. He was the head of the Republican Party in California for many years. But Tom, when I hear some of the objections of some of my liberal and friends, I don't know, sometimes I feel like they're not even rooting for America. I just don't get it.
They're that partisan. They really are. And what I ask of these people is please demonstrate for me where you opposed Bill Clinton in 94 when they invaded Haiti, rightfully to take down the military coup and reinstall the Democratic elected president. And then Clinton went on to make an ag deal that helped Arkansas but didn't help. Where was your objection then? Where was your objection when Obama euthanized American citizens abroad without an indictment? Why didn't you oppose the Clinton indictment of Maduro? So, what do they expect from these things? They are truly the opposition party without cause.
No, I mean, look, and we've been the opposition party as well, but, when we had Zero Dark 30 and Obama took out the terrorists, I applauded that. I said that was one of his great moments as president. And I always put America first. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like they villainize, and I think it even goes beyond, Tom, a hatred of Trump. I just don't think they believe in American exceptionalism, which is what your book is about.
Yes, in significant part. The great Thomas Sowell always says, compared to what? They don't believe America's exceptional. But when you ask them, compared to what? Name another country that has assimilated so many millions, taken so many people out of poverty, or spread democracy so far. They have no answer to that. So you're right. And their act of always hating America, or if you stand up against fraud and calling you racist, is wearing thin on the American public, which is why they're at 18% approval rating.
It's interesting you say that, because it is true. Republicans' approval rating is not good right now. And even Trump's on the economy. I don't understand why. He should be very positive on the economy, but he's a little underwater on the economy. But, and I was really forlorn about that. And then I looked at the same polls. You think Republicans are in bad shape with the public. Look at where Democrats are. And I don't think they're going to help themselves much by attacking what Trump has done to rid the planet of a tyrant. Incidentally, these are the same people who talk about threats to democracy. Was there any bigger threat to democracy in the world than what was going on in Venezuela with Maduro?
No, and the tilt of Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, Honduras.
Yep.
Towards the center, not, everybody's saying, to the right. No, they're becoming, freedom is breaking through the darkness in these many places. And, again, referring to Thomas Sowell, the way to help people who are poor is to create wealth, but the left never cares about how to create wealth, only to redistribute it. To create wealth, you need freedom.
And to redistribute wealth is to destroy wealth, right? Because then you don't have an incentive to produce. I mean, this is right out of Art Laffer that, when you tax something, you get less of it. And when you tax something less, you get more of it. And that's why giving handouts to people might be, in the short term, a humanitarian thing, but it does not build wealth. It does not build growth, and it does not build better lives.
Steve, you would never make it in the California legislature. I'm just here to tell you that right now.
So on that line, I'm talking to Tom Delbicaro, who you don't live in California anymore, do you, Tom?
Well, I still have my business there. I spend.
Oh, you do? Okay.
And I'm going back next week because, it turns out I have a lot of responsibility these days with my 6-month-old son.
Oh, congratulations, by the way, for the new child. So I ask this almost every time you're on my show, but so if those of you who listen to the show often have heard this already, I want your assessment of the front runner for the Democrats in 2028, which is, of course, the Gavin Newsom, the slick governor of California, who I call Governor Hair Gel because the hair is never out of place. How big of a threat is he to the Republicans, and do you think he might be the next president of the United States?
I don't know if you remember at one of the prosperity dinners where I warned of the coming of Newsom. I remember.
You warned us. Yep.
And the answer is he may have peaked early. We have so much scrutiny these days, and the Americans know the results. Ask Stephen A. Smith the results of economics in California. But also, we're starting to do scrutiny on what the other aspects of Newsom, the fraud, the deficit problems, and all of these things. Having said all that, Give him credit for making himself the foil to Republicans nationally. That was his goal. He succeeded. Yes. And the number one characteristic the Democrats want is a fighter against Trump, not a producer of good fortune for people. It is, are you fighting Trump? Yes. So, and then you place him in a general, let's say he's in a general election. And that means one of two people are going to win. And we need to remember, as bad as Kamala Harris was, and she was awful, she finished within 1.5 points of Trump in the quote, the general election results. So we have to take these people seriously. And that's why you spend so much time trying to get people to understand that, in fact, the economy he's building is good and the results will be even better.
Well, great points, Tom, as always. And, the point is that I was thinking about, Bill Clinton, how he just kind of sprung onto the scene and came out of nowhere and won that election in 1992. And by the way, I'm a fan of Bill Clinton. I think he was a pretty good president. We had 4 balanced budgets. We had prosperity. We had lower taxes. But what is interesting is that, I think if people had known everything about Bill Clinton that we now know about him, I don't know if he would have been elected. So maybe Gavin Newsom can will have a problem, because if I'm running against, Gavin Newsom, I just say, do you really want America to look like California? Because California is a mess.
It is. And that's why this is the peaking early thing. We have nonstop elections in this country. And then, and the more you get to know people, the more familiarity breeds contempt with his results, which is why if I'm making a bet, do you pick Newsom as the nominee or take the field horse, right? That some unknown will come in and rise to the top. Remember, Pete Buttigieg rose to the top when no one knew he existed because he ran a good campaign. As bad policies he has, he ran a good campaign. So I am dubious now that he's going to get the nomination. But if he does get it, you cannot underestimate how driven Democrats are. Remember, with an 18% approval rating, they've been winning a lot of elections this year. They come out to vote.
So last question for you, Tom Delbicaro. AOC, could she win the Democratic nomination?
I don't think so, for the same reason. I predicted in 2020 that Sanders would be their nominee. And he was marching along because there were so many people in the race and he had the most dedicated subgroup. He was marching along until Obama brokered the convention right after the New Hampshire results and got Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar.
By the way, you said 2020. That was in 2016 you meant.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah.
So the Democrats would wind up stopping her but
she can't win.
Make no mistake, that woman has the best email fundraising capacity in the country. Yep. And there's a huge number of Americans who listen to her, which is the same thing Mondami says, which is class warfare, and I'm going to give you things for free. And that's a dangerous development in America.
Tom, we just got 30 seconds. That message worked in New York City.
Yes. I'm not sure it's going to work in the 7 battleground states, but Republicans need to get back on the road to teaching freedom instead of forgetting the fact that freedom has to be won with every generation.
Freedom, peace, and prosperity. That's the message of the Republicans. That's what Donald Trump is giving us. Tom Delbicaro, thanks so much for coming on. Folks, this is the More Money Show. We're celebrating an incredible victory over evil that happened today, thanks to our great president, Donald Trump. Not one single casualty of one of the great military operations of our time. Proud to be an American today. I hope you are too. I hope they have your rest of the weekend to celebrate a great victory against a tyrant that was a real danger to the whole world. And our hearts and prayers go out to the people in Venezuela, because good things are going to come now that you're free of communism and free of Maduro. Have a great weekend, folks. This is the More Money Show.
Thanks for listening to More Money with Steve Moore. You can hear More Money with Steve Moore Saturday afternoons at 1. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.